Hey, what's up? It's Steph. Welcome back to Steph Rock Show. We've got Jason Hager of Spineshank. Thanks for coming by.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And wait a second, back up. You don't have Lord on your screen name, but on Instagram it says Lord. And I gotta ask you about this. How did you become a Lord?
Um, well, for a long time, it was just kind of like a joke nickname, and then when they started doing that, the Scottish lordships you could buy, like I went out and I bought one for me, my son, and my dog, so we're all like, legally Scottish lords. So
I
I mean,
love it. Do you own like an inch of land or something that you
it's
had to
like
buy?
you could. I think it's like parcels of anywhere from like 1 square foot to like 10 square feet, and it's for like a conservation effort. So it's their way of like preserving like certain areas. So, but yeah,
Nice.
legally, me, my son, and my dog are landowners in Scotland.
I love it. I'm Irish and I don't own any land in Ireland and it's not too far from Scotland, but I would love to be. What are you if you're a female? What are you called? Do you know?
A lady.
A lady. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I am not a lady, so I'm not going to buy land. That's not it's not
yeah.
my jam.
I actually think that Ireland has a program like that too, because I know like Scotland. I mean, I could be wrong about Ireland, but I think I saw it that like they still like honor the whole like lord and ladyship for like landowners.
What if I
So
want to be a lord though?
uh, I'm sure if you say you want to be a lord, they'll let you.
I
As long
do.
as you're giving them the money, they probably don't care.
They just want, yeah, sign the dotted line, give me money. So okay, I want to know more about Spine Shake and how you jumped on because they started in the mid 90s. You're newer, you went on and you toured with Drowning Pool and everything. How did you guys connect and did you guys know each other for a while or is this a new connection?
No, we've like I've been friends with those guys for since 2000 because I was originally I was the original guitar player and co-founder of Chimera, and like a little bit before we signed to Roadrunner, Spineshank was touring for Height of Callousness, and we both had the same manager at the time. So our manager, he put us on a few shows that were surrounding the Cleveland area, and just after we played those shows, we're just like, man, this is so fun. Like wish we could like finish out this tour with you. So they made a call to the booking agent, and even though the tour package was already booked and everything, they're just they're like, well, the only money you'll make is off of merch. Are you guys cool with that? Because the packages and finances are already taken care of. We're like, yeah,
Touring's expensive. It's really
yes,
expensive.
yeah, it is. I mean, luckily we did have the money saved up, and we did really good on merch on that tour too. But like, just they were cool enough to just take us out. Like, when they didn't have to. And like it's like I tell everybody, it's just like Spineshank, like the band, their crew, and everything like that. They're more like a close knit family, and just from day one they accepted us as part of their family. So and ever since back then, just how close we got with them. Like out of all the people that I've met throughout the years with music, they're the ones I stayed closest to. So, and like first and foremost, like I'm a huge fan of the band, I've always been. And then, just being really good friends with those guys. It's, I've been messaging them, telling them like, dude, you guys got to get back together, man. You got to tour. And
Yes.
then, and then I get a call from Johnny. He's like, we're getting back together. We're doing this tour for, the 25th anniversary of Height of Callousness. Would you want to play guitar? I'm like, yeah, like of course.
Fuck yeah.
It's just like no hesitation at all. And it's like usually I'm really weird about joining bands that are already established because it's like I like to be there from the beginning so I can feel like I'm part of I've been a part of the band from day one. But with those guys, it's like I didn't even have to think about it because it's like I've been so close with them for so long. It's not like a, it's like even though I wasn't in the band, I was a part of their. They always treated me like a part of their group. So it's like, I don't feel like an outsider with them. It's like
I don't think it's a bad thing to jump on with a band that's pre-established. It's kind of like marrying someone. It's their fourth marriage with a little bit of baggage, but maybe they have some
yeah,
cool stories, you
yeah.
know?
It's like some of them. It's like like I'm not gonna like I don't want to mention any names. I don't like because I'm cool with these people, but like there's some bands that it's like you love, they're great friends, but it's just like how would working with them be? Like is there a member in the band's like that's a total like tyrant when it comes to working together? And it's like I wouldn't want to ruin the love I have of their music and just the views I have on them as friends and people if I join a band and it's just like, oh my God, what I get into. like,
Yeah.
but it's just like, it's like I know how, the Spineshank guys are, like Tommy, Johnny, Rob, and even Mike, you know, but they're probably one of the most humble bands that I know, and just they're super cool, man. It's just like first time you meet them, it's just like you guys have been friends forever.
I feel you though. Sometimes there's a lot of talent on stage that's great, but then off stage someone can be a dick. So you want to get to know somebody's on stage and off stage persona and make sure they're nice in real life.
Yeah.
Are you guys still with Century Media? Are you guys with Roadrunners? Who are you guys with
I
right now?
that part I don't know, just because like being
Because it's flip
that
flopped, and yeah,
I'm
that's what.
I'm new in the band, so like those details, like I still have to figure out all that stuff. Like right now, my main focus is getting all the songs down, learning everything off a height of callousness, and now like learning a bunch of other songs for when we do like because like a lot of our stuff is like festivals and co-headlining tours, and then we're gonna have headlining tours also. So I got to learn a whole bunch of other stuff. But
So
yeah,
yeah, speaking of festivals, we got to bring up it's my hometown, our big Super Bowl of the year, Aftershock, and you guys play Sunday, which I think is the best day of Aftershock. So you're very lucky. That's awesome. Have you been to Sacramento? Have you played here before?
I haven't played there. I have been there, um, just because like I also tattoo, and I did a convention in Lake Tahoe, but I have a friend that lives in Sacramento, so I flew out there. Um, she let me crash at her place for a couple days, and then I went to Lake Tahoe. So I've been there. Did we spent like hours trying to find the entrance to Folsom Prison just because I wanted to see it just because of Johnny Cash. So like,
It
but
is a notorious prison. Yeah.
we could not find the entrance. It was
Well, I have not been in that one, so that's good. Only
yeah.
Sac County downtown. So I don't know how to get in, and I don't want to learn how to get into the
Yeah,
Folsom
yeah,
Prison.
maybe it's a bad thing. No,
Yeah.
knowing the entrance.
Yeah. So I read on your profile that you are a tattoo artist as well.
Yeah.
I want to know because I love tattoos. I am freaking all tatted. So what has been some of your favorite requests to be tattooed, and what are your not so favorite requests?
Uh, Not so favorite when people want like a whole paragraph of lettering on them, and it's like, um, what I like, what I specialize in is like black and gray, like portraits and realism and stuff like that. So I love doing horror portraits and just, like movie characters and stuff like that. Like, I'd love to do a lot more like nerdy stuff, just because I'm a huge nerd. Like do like Lord of the Rings portraits and stuff like that. But like a lot of the horror portraits I've got to do were like really fun. So
Yeah. They looked really good on your page. And then,
thank you.
happy May the 4th be with you. It's May 4th, and I'm a Star Wars fan. So,
Me too. So
oh, nice. Wait, dark side or light side?
uh,
It's not hard.
I think if I was in the Star Wars universe, I'd be more of a gray Jedi. Kind of
In the middle,
not bad, but not good.
like the Bernie Sanders of the political groups, but you're just kind of in the center.
Yeah, kind of in the center. It's like you know use my powers for what I think is the right purpose. You know, I probably
Yeah.
use it. I probably use it for dumb stuff, like just use the force to mess with people, just because it's funny.
Yeah, I
So
would
it'd
just
be
get
bad
hot
for me
young
to have.
guys, like, naked in my place with the Force. I'm the dark side, though. I'm all the way like, in Darth Vader, like, the OG.
Yeah,
That's my fave. So where are you located right now?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know if you were in LA. Are most of the guys in the band in LA right now, or where are they?
Yeah, like Rob and Tommy are in LA, and well, Tommy's son too, because he's also playing guitar now. And Johnny is originally from LA, but he lives in Portland, so he'll be going down to LA too. You know, because I've been doing, I've been like learning and practicing the songs like pretty much, like on my own, figuring things out, and I go out there like early June sometime so that we could have a few weeks of just full band practice, getting everybody in sync with each other and stuff like that, like before we head out on the road.
Well, I'm excited to see you guys at Aftershock in October, and I'll be backstage in the media area. So if you guys want to come interview in person too, I'll be all set up and I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Can I ask you random questions?
You bet.
Okay.
Ask me whatever. Like,
I love random question because for 21 years I've been asking about music and I love the music and I do like to ask about the new album and single, but then what I love is the band outside of music too, like as just a human figuring them
uh
out. So that's fun. Okay, what do you think of the Menendez brothers and everything that's going on with them?
to be totally honest, I haven't really been following it too much.
Okay.
Like,
No, at least you're
I mean, I
honest
know
that
they want.
they got molested by their parents and then they shot and killed their parents and they've been in jail for like 35 years. Do you think they should get out or they should stay?
Uh, I think because of the circumstances, I think that they should be able to get out. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
what happened. Like what happened to them was horrible, and you can understand why they did what they did, but at the same time, it's like uh, legally there was better ways to go about it. Like
Yeah.
so it's just kind of the same thing with what's that Gypsy Rose
Yeah.
that killed her mom. Like I understand why she did it, and it's like
Yes.
I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same thing in those circumstances, but is it the best way to go about it? No,
I
but
agree. And
I
like
think
Rogan had a good point. Like, are these people a threat to society? Would you be afraid on a bus sitting next to Gypsy Rose or the Menendez brothers? And I wouldn't.
no, I wouldn't.
I think it's a more heated family issue and internalized, and they did the wrong thing. But I don't
Yeah,
think they are a threat to society.
yeah. I mean, I can understand them, doing some jail time because they, killed them, but at the same time, it's like because of why they killed him. I think the circumstances should have like lessened, you know,
Yeah.
the sentence and stuff like
Yeah. Oh, I was saying, since you're a lord, what is your thoughts on Meghan Markle?
Oh God, don't get me started.
She is so annoying. I'm sorry, but
Oh
I
God.
can't watch anything she does, and, like, she thinks she's, like, God's gift, I feel like, and oh, what do you
Man.
think of her?
Like I mean even Harry, it's just like
Yeah.
it's like two extremely privileged people like complaining about the dumbest stuff like like they're the most oppressed people in history. It's just like
Yes.
I mean like it's like dude, I've been homeless before, like in my early teens I was or not early teens but early like 19 and 20, like so late teens early 20s, like yeah, I was homeless for a year, and I wasn't acting like a victim over stupid stuff. It's just like
Yeah.
uh I would love to be in your situation. It's
Why
like
would you leave a castle with guards and, like, everything's paid for, and then you're complaining about low security because you left a cush life? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, and it's just like then it just seems like they're doing everything they can to stay relevant, like
Yes.
in the public eye. It's just like you're not. it's like you're not that important, you know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're saying they're broke, but I'm like, I see your lifestyle and your Netflix cooking show. You have a lot more money than most people that we
I
know.
mean, you know, like maybe you're broke compared to like, you know, like some millionaires out there, but you're not struggling.
Yeah, they're comparing themselves to Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk that they're broke, but
It's
that
like,
doesn't count. But
dude, if I had a fraction of their money, I mean, granted, I probably, you know, spend it on the dumbest shit ever, but you know, it's like tons of guitars, some cool cars, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like there's a lot of people that it just, you know, they complain about the dumbest stuff. I mean, you
yeah,
know, like I've complained about stuff in my life that most people would be like, dude, why are you complaining? But you know, it happens to all of us. But yeah, I don't know. It's just these super rich elites that like complain about, you know, how hard life is. It's like, I don't think you know how hard life is. You know?
they're out of touch with reality. And I think the older we get, the
Yeah,
more we get in touch with our mortality and the more grateful I get to just spend time with my kids and like spoil them. And nothing else outside of my kids matters that much to me.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just like my views on the whole like celebrity thing, and it's like I don't, and it doesn't matter where you stand socially or politically. It's just like, dude, it's like you're all out of touch with like how everyday people live. You know, and like I
Yeah.
said, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you fall on. It's just like to me, it's just like I really don't care about your opinion. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you know, and it's
I
just
think
like
when people wanna fight or, like, I don't I grew up in a political family, and
yeah,
my uncle and grandfather were attorneys that became judges, and so it was just a lot of conversations about politics, and I don't care to get into political conversations with anyone unless I know it's a level-headed, calm person that maybe is smarter than me and can educate me. I think it's like a war zone, and people just wanna fight and yell at you, and I'm just not
yeah,
that
it's
passionate about I'm not trying to change anyone's opinion too or frame of mind, like, "You do you,
yeah,
let
me
me do
neither.
me," is my vibes.
Yeah, yeah, it's just you know, I'm never trying to change somebody's opinion, and it's just like you know, like you know, I'm older now, and it's just like you know, I grew up in a time where it's just like yeah, people with differing political and social views. I mean, as long as you're not like actually like in a hate group or something like that, it's like
Yeah.
or you know, you're you know harming people. It's you know, people. It was a agree to disagree mentality,
Yeah.
and it's like
It's changed since
nowadays.
COVID times in
Oh yeah,
2020.
and it's
If you're
just like
not doing a freak off party at Diddy's house, I don't care what you're doing or how you're voting. Like, it doesn't, it doesn't
yeah,
apply to me. Okay,
yeah.
so what is I got a next question, your dream band to tour with, if you could tour with any band
Oh shit. Um, that's hard because
or a
there's quite
couple?
there's a few like you know obvious like you know bands like Slayer have always been like a huge influence on me. I mean, and unlike you know the vast majority of people who like you know it seems like every Slayer fan like their favorite album is like Rain and Blood. Like mine is South of Heaven. But so them, you know, and it's like I grew up a lot on like you know late '80s, early '90s, like the British death metal or just stuff like that, like bands like Carcass, Bolt Thrower, like oh my god, dude, if I could play a show with Carcass,
That'd be so sick.
yeah, and yeah, there's and or At the Gates. I mean, shit, without At the Gates, you wouldn't have metalcore. You know,
Yeah.
every metalcore band pretty much tries to emulate, you know, Slaughter the Soul. You know, and that's not a bad thing, and they do it for good reason because they're amazing. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bands, but then also it's like I've played with bands that like I was you know influenced by and inspired by early on, and I've gotten the chance to play with them or just even meet them, and it's just their ego and attitude. It's like, fuck,
Mm.
you know, it was so much better before I knew you. You know, it's like,
Yes.
Yeah. But again, it's like with
Yeah.
stuff like that, I'm not going to mention any names because, it's like, you know, I don't want to call people out.
There's a band that I wasn't calling out on radio days, but now I'm independent and they have a color and a day and I liked them and they came by the station and they were very rude and not grateful and just short and now I don't like them. So there's definitely some bands
Yeah.
I've had by that were I mean usually it's the opposite though, I swear. I'm like I don't even know who this band is. They're going to stop by the station and they were so nice and so cool that I then got into their music after they left. So
Yeah.
luckily it's normally the opposite. They were cooler than I knew. Okay, have you ever tattooed on stage before?
No.
That'd be kind of neat. Dead Poet Society did that recently. What is your favorite 80s fantasy movie between these three? So between Neverending Story, Labyrinth, and Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal.
I love all three so
Yeah, I
much.
mean, I do
Yeah.
too, but if I had to choose one, it would be Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal so good. Did you see the
I was just
prequel?
actually talking about about Dark Crystal with my girlfriend.
Dude, she has good taste too then. Did you see
Yeah.
the Netflix do a prequel show
Yeah,
of
yeah, that's what we were mainly talking about, and just how it was amazing, and then Netflix canceled it.
I know, I want more, and normally I'm not a fan of kind of even prequels and sequels and remakes, but they did a really good job, and obviously animatronics and CGI has gotten so much better since the '80s, so it just opened my
Yeah,
imaginative mind to the new Dark Crystal. It was so cool.
yeah.
Um,
I'd
if
love to. I'd love to do tattoos of Dark Crystal characters. That'd be
dude,
great.
I need one. Okay. If you come to Sacramento again at convention, let me know. I will pay to get a Dark Crystal tattoo. I'm because I have Labyrinth tattoos. That's kind of my all-time favorite. Dark Crystal's a close second.
Yeah, yeah. Labyrinth is
Okay.
awesome too.
If you
But,
could bring back MySpace or Vine, which one would you want to bring back?
MySpace. I mean, I never really used Vine too
I
much,
didn't
but
either.
with music and everything, I definitely use MySpace a lot. I like that you weren't like constantly facing like you didn't have to worry about MySpace jail or and plus it's like for bands it was cool because you can completely customize your profile page.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like once you're able to do that, like a lot of bands didn't even have regular websites anymore because people were just going to MySpace pages, so they would customize their MySpace page and that's all they had.
I loved how individual it was and that we were
Yeah,
all learning HTML and how to code and
yeah,
putting, yeah, our songs on. I do miss it. I'm shocked it went away because I thought it was so successful.
yeah. It's funny because like one of my friends who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago,
I'm sorry.
like because before Chimera like started getting like heavy label interest, like I was actually in school for graphic design, so like when bands were, but then as soon as labels were showing interest, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a big rock star. I don't need school,
Yeah.
but it actually helped me out a lot because it's I learned a lot about the visual promotional aspects of a lot of things. And but when bands were customizing their MySpace pages, we were just for like $100, like I would design it, he would code it, and
Oh, that's
we
cool.
do that for bands, so it was pretty cool. I remember
Okay, what's the band?
we
Oh,
even
yes.
designed some stuff for In This Moment, like before they got big, like
Dude, I love In This Moment. I love Maria. She's always been so nice and cool and yeah, I'm a huge fan. They're gonna be at Aftershock, I think on Sunday too, the same day as you guys.
dude. The funny thing about that is like when they first came out, like I recognized Maria Brink's sleeve that she had because one of my friends who's in LA is a tattoo artist. Like in Camaro, when we were out recording Pass Out of Existence, I went and got tattooed by him. He did my Camaro tattoo. He did the Sacred Heart on the side of my neck, and like she's his ex-girlfriend. And I only
Um,
knew that because like when he was tattooing me, he had the design for her sleeve hanging up on his wall, and then I saw her arm. I'm like, wait, did you date Connor? She's like, yeah.
It's a small
I'm
world.
like, that's crazy.
I don't know if you know Davey Suicide. He's my tattoo artist in LA, and he was just doing tattoos, and then he became a lead singer of a band, and now he's kind of doing both, all over the place.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
like a
is
lot of bands like they have members that break into like go from music to tattooing, or tattooers go to music, or they do both at the same time.
yeah, even painting, like selling artwork, on the side and making the merch. There's a lot of artistic outlet, not just in music.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
haven't done any actual paintings in a long time, just because it's
Oh, I can't.
expensive.
I can't
People
paint.
and people can't really like. At least here, like a lot of people can't afford like actual paintings. And it's like I get it, but at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna sell them for next to nothing. But so I've done more like digital stuff, because then you can make prints easily,
Yeah.
and like
What's a
those.
band that's really popular that a lot of people like that you think is overrated?
Ugh. Can it be from any like era?
Any, yeah.
Um,
You're
Now
like, how
like,
is that band popular? How is that band big?
well, I mean, like there's bands that like I think are overrated, but I still think are good.
Mhm.
But it's just like, how are they so huge, but other bands that are just as good, if not maybe a little bit better, aren't? Like don't get me wrong, it's like I like the Beatles, but I just always thought like, dude, why are they like bigger than Jesus? It's like,
They're kind of basic in my
yeah. I mean, it's like, I kind of get it, because they were like so different when they first came out to everything that was going on. That people were like, oh, they don't know how to read music. They're self-taught. It's like, me too. But it's like, yeah, it's just like, I mean, but don't get me wrong. Some of their songs I do really, really like, but at the same time, it's like I don't think that they necessarily deserve as much hype as they get. But at the same time, I don't think they're a bad band. And then
I vibe, like, I like Eleanor Rigby, but there's not a ton of Beatles songs that I really dig, and I
yeah,
love there's this quote I heard once, it's like, "You either like the Beatles or the Stones," and that tells a lot about that person, and I more would go with the Rolling Stones if I had to pick between those 2.
I'm kind of the same way with the Stones though. Like I never really got into them. Not that I think they're bad. It was just they're never really my thing, except for like a couple songs I really like. But overall, like my mom really liked them growing up.
I think they have
Yeah.
sex appeal at least. They're like badass sex appeal. The Beatles, I don't see sex appeal. I don't know what women find hot about them.
I don't know. My mom was all about George Harrison, so she might have
Yeah.
something to say about that. But it's funny though, because like my mom, it's like where me and my son both get like, say like our drawing abilities from. She she's like an amazing artist too, and like in her sketchbooks she has portraits that she drew of like Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, um, and then George Harrison. Like, so, and it's just like, damn, it's like you were good, like. So, but yeah, I don't. It's hard to say like a lot of bands that if I think they're overrated, because people just automatically assume that I mean that they're not good, and that's not the case at all. It's just like
Yeah.
I just don't understand why, like, the hype about some bands. And, it's like I honestly don't really want to like rattle off a bunch of names, because it's just like I do like the bands, and and I have nothing against the bands personally. So it's like I wouldn't want to like say something that would make them think that I don't like them.
Yeah. No, I
So
vibe.
so I not trying to dodge your question, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't want people to get the wrong impression by me saying it's overrated and confusing it with thinking that I don't think they're good.
And then the fans attack you.
Yeah.
Okay, last random question. Who do you think would be better in bed, a porn star or a librarian?
Uh,
So random.
Librarian.
Yeah.
It's always the nice types, you know.
More reserved glasses. I think,
Yeah.
I don't even watch porn anymore. I just think it's so fake and scripted and it's not real that it's hard to like believe it or even get into it.
Yeah, it's like what happened to the days of like 70s porn where there's storylines and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Or like they're actually making love in older porns. That's hard you have to find real couples now setting up cameras. Now it's just like such a production, like a show. And it's like, that's not reality. I don't know. I agree. I think The Librarian. Okay, so tell us, so what's coming up? When are you guys going on tour? Give us all the deets.
Um, well, our first show is uh July 9th in Lubbock, Texas. And then we're going out with my brain's like um it's a co-headlining tour, and it's probably for about 3 weeks. It's with Union Underground, and during that run, we're playing Incarceration, like
Oh,
here in
nice.
Ohio, which is cool because it's like just over an hour away from where I live, and it's awesome because it's at the old Mansfield State Penitentiary, where like Shawshank Redemption and a bunch of movies were filmed
Oh,
at.
yeah. No, I love Incarceration. So my buddy Kevin is the main journalist there. So you gotta interview with Kevin. He's got long hair and wears glasses and he's really good. So every time Incarceration, he's the one to go to. But no, that's one of the sickest festival grounds
Yeah,
to play. Obviously, I'm Aftershock, that's my baby. So that's the best festival. But Incarceration is second, close second.
yeah, yeah. Like I was super excited when we got added to it because it was already booked. You know, like it was totally booked when we had the tour set up, and then I think like two bands dropped off of it, and since they had open spots, we were able to we got on there, and we're also doing Louder Than Life in
All the Danny festivals. I
okay.
like it.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
that was the first show announced too, and Aftershock, of course, and then we also have a co-headlining tour with Drowning Pool in the UK and Ireland in November,
I
and
love
then
those guys, by the way. I'm a huge fan of CJ. He's come by, oh my gosh, 6 or 7 times the radio show, and then he came by the new podcast a couple of times, but he's always really nice, really fun. Like, just those guys have great energy.
yeah, and there's a lot of stuff like tours and stuff like that that are all in process of being booked and finalized and all that stuff, which it's too early to really talk about, but you know we've got some good stuff planned for you know it, hopefully the next year. Try to
2025 and 2026. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
thank you, dude, so much for taking time out of your day and stopping by Steph's Rock Show. And we
Oh,
can't wait to see you at Aftershock.
yeah, definitely. I mean, come up, say hi to all of us.